Hey everyone, Morgan here. So this month for National Preparedness Month, I am doing a huge collaboration with a whole bunch of other YouTubers. All the YouTubers are listed down below, and let's real quick take a look at the channels that are involved in this collab. Alright, so I'm going to be doing several videos throughout this month, a whole bunch of fantastic channels. I really encourage you to go subscribe to them and see what they're putting out for this month, National Preparedness Month. So much great content from so many great people. I'm so excited to be a part of this. Okay, so let's get right to it. So in today's video, I want to talk about wild foraging. I've talked about this before, but I think it's such a needed skill that every prepper, you don't have to be a survivalist or bushcrafter to know how to forage for wild edibles. And wild edibles can range from plants to fishing, to small game, large game, whatever. I mean, whatever is a wild edible, right? Now, you can help to cultivate some of these wild edibles as well, but that's a little more advanced. But usually wild edibles is anything that is just growing out in the wild, okay? So I'm going to share with you some tips to really start getting out there and start exploring wild edibles. I mean, there's just so much out there. Now, first of all, every single region will have different types of wild edibles. Even here I've mainly lived in the South. I've lived about I'd say about 10 years of a little over 10 years of my life in the South. So I've really gotten to know this area. But whenever I go up north, the wild edibles change completely, okay? Even from state to state, they can be completely different. There can be similarities, but there can be also a lot of differences. And also in elevations as well. Elevations can change what grows in certain areas. Even if you know that, there's a ton of cactus in Arizona, well, if you go to a certain elevation, there may be no cactus. And then when you get to a higher elevation, there may be lots of cactus. And then a lower elevation, again, lots of cactus. It just really depends on elevation, your region, exactly where you are. So the very first thing that I suggest that you do is get a book for your region. I would suggest getting a book for your specific area, okay? Try to stay away from the books that are very general, like, oh, here's a top 10 wild edibles across the nation, because they may have like one or two that are pretty common in your area, but chances are they're not going to be as specific to you and your area. So get a book. Now, the books should have plenty of colorful pictures, okay? There are lots of survival books out there that they don't have colorful pictures. Instead, they have like black and white pictures, which unfortunately simply don't give you any sort of actual information on what the plant actually looks like. Now, you really want a good pictures when it comes to very detailed. So you want to see what the actual thing is that you're going to eat. You want to see what the plant looks like so that you can take this, go to the plant, right, and be like, okay, is this right? You want to make sure that all the leaves look exactly alike. There are a ton of wild edibles that have evil cousins where they look exactly alike, but they are not edible at all, right? They're extremely poisonous, or they will make you extremely sick at the very least, okay? In this day and age, there's no reason for us to be doing any taste testing or anything. You should be getting a book and positively identifying plants before even picking it up, okay? Before even plucking it, before putting it to your lips, whatever. I would highly advise against doing that survival taste test. Now, the survival taste test, well, a lot of people will read in survival books, is to take the whatever, the berry, the greenery, whatever, put it to your lips. They actually suggest put it to your skin, seeing if it has any allergic reaction to your skin, then putting it to your lips, waiting for a little bit, and then putting it to your tongue, again, waiting a little bit, and then, taking a little bit, biting it in your mouth, kind of, and then spit it out, kind of waiting a little bit. And then after that, if there's no adverse effects, to actually then consume it. However, this simply is not necessary. You have the tools and ability now and the resources now to positively identify plants, okay? So please do not do that survival taste test. That could actually cause way more harm to you than actually taking the time to go out, get a book, and go out and actually walk around and positively identify the plants. Now, feel free, I'm not going to tell you what to do. If you want to do that survival taste test, you do what you got to do, okay? But seriously, in this day and age, we don't need to do what the Native Americans did and, just kind of guess and see, what is. And also, a lot of people say, well, what animals can eat, humans can eat. That's not true at all. What a lot of animals can eat, especially birds can eat a lot of berries that we simply cannot eat. And there's also, a lot of people stay away from the red berries. Well, there are some red berries that are edible, but there are some that aren't. Again, get a book. I cannot stress this enough. Get a book for your specific region. Ignore this whole Texas part, okay? Just for your specific region, wherever you are, and then learn about those wild edibles. And another thing you're going to have to learn is the season. So what type of season do these wild edibles pop up? Are they going to be just summertime? This is a mesquite bean, and I brought this here. I've been shaking it around in the camera a little bit, but this is a mesquite bean. This comes from the mesquite bush. People call it a tree, bush, whatever, but the mesquite plant. Mesquite tree is what I call it. A lot of people call them trash trees because they grow these mesquite beans, and then all the mesquite beans, when they're ready, basically essentially fall to the ground. Now, these are great because you can eat them just raw as is, or you can make them into flour. You can process them into coffee. You can also make jelly out of them. Lots of great uses for this one little bean, right? So this is also important to know, how do you actually consume the berries or the wild edible? Could be a berry. If it is a berry, usually you can just eat it, but you could also process it into like a jelly or something like that. And then sometimes not sometimes, all the time, you have to know exactly what part of the plants are edible. Are the leaves edible? Is the bark edible? Are the roots edible? Is the flower edible? Okay. Are the berries on it edible? Some plants have just maybe the leaves are edible, and then others just the berries, and then others the whole plant is basically useful. It just really depends. You also have to know that, and that should be explained in your book as well, okay? And also get several books, and then if you don't recognize something, take a picture of it and then go try to look for it online later. Like say you can't find it in your book, you can't find it anywhere, or go find an expert online in which you can send the picture to and say, hey, do you recognize this? Now when you're sending a picture, be sure to take a picture of the plant, be sure to take a picture of it in its natural atmosphere, be sure to take a picture of it really close up so you can see the leaves, the berries, whatever else is on it, okay? Really make sure you're getting plenty of detailed pictures of exactly where this plant is, what it is, what's on it, all that. That will help out when it comes to identification, especially when it comes to looking very closely at the leaves, because the leaves are usually a dead giveaway, sometimes a giveaway as to identifying plants, because maybe this will look very similar to this or something. It doesn't, but let's say they did, but you can just look at the leaves and be like, you know what, that looks different. The leaves look different. The flowers look exactly the same, but the leaves look different. That would tell me that this was a different plant, okay? There are lots of yellow flowers out there, but they're not all the same, right? But there's lots of varying factors. My point is, wild edibles, you really got to get to know them now. And when you can harvest them, how you harvest them, how you consume them, and also best practices for wild edibles is leave some. If I'm going to go pick the mesquite beans off of this bush, I'm going to be leaving several for the wildlife, okay? Because the wildlife needs to eat it as well. I'm not the only one consuming these wild edibles, okay? The wildlife is still consuming this stuff. So leave some for other wildlife. Don't take it all. There should be plenty available, and if there's not, just take a little bit and that's it. It'll be your snack for the day or whatever, right? So anyway, get a book. Make sure that you are actually physically taking this book out, looking at it, saying, all right, let's see, this is definitely a mesquite tree. Yes, that's it. Positively identifying. Okay, well, when do they produce the pods? Oh, this says around summer, fall. Great, perfect. Okay, well, I'll wait for summer, fall-ish area, and then I will harvest these beans. Fantastic, okay? It does take some time and effort to actually go out and get started. The hardest part is starting, but the easiest part is picking up a book. Again, doesn't have to be this book. Go find a book for your specific region and just start walking around and start positively identifying stuff, taking pictures of stuff, going home and identifying it that way. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Please go check out everybody else's videos in this collab. So many great videos. I'm going to be checking them out throughout the month as well. Conquer tomorrow by preparing today. Thank you all so much for watching, and go check out the rest of the National Preparedness Month's video collab. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye-bye.